Tonight, my running buddy and I, we're gonna go for our Saturday long run. .84 miles, 8 minutes, 12 seconds per mile. Feeling really good out there today, feeling very strong. Out there with my running buddy, absolutely beautiful weather. Today I ran in the Gyakusou Turbos. My running buddy ran in the New Balance Beacons. He's been absolutely loving Beacons. It's taken me a while to get him, not that I was trying to get him away from the Ghosts, but he'd been running in Ghost 10s for a really long time, and he'd been looking for something that felt a little bit speedier, not quite as heavy. Even though he really liked the Ghost 10s, he wanted something a little bit livelier, something that gave him a little bit more spring in his step. So I recommended for him the New Balance Beacon, and he's absolutely been loving them. He did tell me though that it's been really hard for him to find a pair of Beacons on sale. So he did have to pay $100 for his, which I think is the regular price. And I'm thinking what's going on is everyone's kind of holding on to their inventory at this point until the Beacons 2 come out, which isn't going to be, I think, for another couple months. And for me, I was running with the Gyakusou Turbo, and as much as I absolutely love that shoe, I don't think it is a real long distance running shoe. The first time I ran in them, I took them out of the box and ran a half marathon in them and had just a fantastic time, but it did chew up my pinky toes on each side, more so on the right than on the left. There's just something about the upper materials that isn't quite rubbing right, and I've run in a couple times since then, and even today, I still was feeling a little bit of that rubbing. So whatever it is, it's not a break-in issue because I've got over 30 miles in the shoe. That's still giving me a little bit of a problem. But today the real big problem was in the tongue. That tongue is not designed for running. It is a stiff material that is relatively thin, so you wouldn't think it'd be a problem. But today, over the course of 17, almost 18 miles, it started digging into the front of my, like, a little bit above the ankle, not quite my shin, and it rubbed me raw. So it's painful now, and taking a shower was just absolutely painful. So not a great long distance running shoe. There's literally my blood and sweat, and not tears, but blood and sweat in the shoe. I've tried to make it work, but I don't know if I can run long distances with them. For the next while, when I do feel like I'm ready to go back to it, it's going to be my shorter runs, like 6 miles, 10K, about that distance, until I feel confident that whatever the things are that are bothering me about the shoe can get fixed. Which is such a shame because I love the way the shoe looks. I love the way that the midsole and outsole perform. It's just that upper, even though I don't know what's worse, the upper that I had on the black Pegasus Turbo or the Gyakusou Turbo, both have been giving me different sets of problems that make it hard for me to really love that shoe. But I do love the Gyakusou Turbo. It just hurts to love it, I guess. But anyway, I mentioned earlier that we were at 17, almost 18 miles, and I posted the 17.84 miles that I had for today, I think on Instagram, or I don't remember if it was on Strava, and someone commented that I should have just rounded up. to get to that 18, because 17.84, if you've already run that far, you might as well run 18. And I think we actually did. The mileage number that I'm reporting to you guys is what I get from my Stryd footpod. And I definitely noticed a couple of points during today's run where I lost connection with the footpod. And you get a little buzz on at least I do on my Apple Watch every time it does that. But and usually picks it right back up really quickly. So I get a buzz, I see it that it's lost connection, and then it reconnects. But today it didn't connect for a little while, and I think that between the couple times that it happened, I think I definitely hit the 18-mile mark. My buddy uses a Fitbit, and he got over the 18-mile mark. Our goal was to hit 17 miles for the day, kind of lining up with the Hal Higdon Advanced 1 Marathon training plan that I was kind of looking at earlier this week. And I wanted to get for 17. We were at like 17 3/4 by the time we stopped for today. And he's like, let's just go to 18. So I said, okay. And we stopped when his watch hit 18 miles, which is only 17.84 for me. I guess it's not irony, but just a little bit of trading spaces, because the week before we had thought we would go for a 15-mile run, and then we were at like 15 and like 2/3 of a mile, and I was like, let's just go to 16. And I really don't think he wanted to, but I made him go to 16 anyway. So last week I was pushing him, this week he's pushing me. But in either event, both weeks, our fastest miles were in the back end and the last couple of miles as well. And so for today, our last 3 miles were our fastest miles of the entire day, which is a great feeling to have. And the fact that we were both able to just bang out like a 17 or 18-mile run on just a random Saturday, when both of us, when we were talking about it, we had stressful weeks, we had tiring weeks, we had higher mileage weeks than normal as well. And so by all accounts, we should have had a harder time today, but things kind of lined up for us. I think having beautiful weather certainly helped. That sunrise, the absolute stillness of the lake, it was just so inspiring, so awesome, such grandeur. And we definitely spent a lot of the time talking about like just the absolute solitude of the lake, being in a city the size of Chicago, and yet being able to find a spot that is that kind of like almost desolate, and just a beautiful sunrise. It was just so amazing. And, you know, it made me think that, like, you know, I wonder if the solitude of that part of Chicago, which I think we were past the 31st Street Beach House, so we were relatively far south, and just the absolute stillness of that, I think that stillness and that part of the lake is probably like a recent historical phenomena, because if you think back and the importance of waterways would have had to just life and commerce and just existence, you know, 200, 300 years ago, I can only imagine how like cacophonous and lively and vibrant the waterfront would have been. And we imagine that the whole place would have just smelled like smoking fish the entire time. So we were just kind of letting our imaginations wander off, which is always a helpful thing to do when you're on a very long run. But it was kind of amazing. The rest of the time, I think we were both really hungry, because we spent the rest of the time just talking about food and the food we would eat if we went to marathons in various cities. So food is definitely on our minds. I think we were both at a little bit of calorie deficits for the week. But, you know, that's what happens when you're kind of getting excited about the springtime and running a little bit more than you have been in the winter. Which I think was the case for both of us. But ultimately, just a really great day, fantastic day to be out there, a fantastic day to be able to go for a really long run and just run for as long as you wanted, and a really great day to be running with a running buddy. So all in all, what more could you possibly ask for? So an absolutely great and fantastic day, but I'm definitely now very tired after that run. So that's all I have for today's video. Just really enjoying life right now. But before I go, I do want to talk about the charity run for the week. It's Justin Wasielewski. He's going to be running the London Marathon in just a couple of weekends, and he's raising money for the AICR, the American Institute for Cancer Research, which has a goal of making sure that no one has to ever get diagnosed with a preventable form of cancer. So I've been very happy to donate $70 to Justin's fundraising efforts, and I'll post links in the description in case you'd like to learn more. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?